Right. Now, in the past, when we heard the word addiction, the first thing that came to mind was drugs and alcohol and what have you. The mobile phone never came to mind until recently. Now, if one's phone is his best friend and you can't afford to drop it or crash or live a day without it, can one then be described as a phone addict? In our lifestyle segment today, we take a look at mobile phone addiction and we have the story for you to look at.
Wake up in the morning and the first thing we grab is our phones, checking whose call we missed, the latest post on Instagram and Twitter, wondering what catchy updates to put on our Facebook status, sending WhatsApp messages, and the routine continues all day. The smartphone has become our ultimate companion.
My phone is like my best friend. I trust my phone than my friend.
Research shows that individuals check their smartphones more than 100 times a day. From the office, meetings, and even at church, most people simply cannot live without their smartphones. There's great anxiety and a sense of loss when our phones are not with us.
The worst punishment that could ever happen to me was for me to lose my phone. I do nothing apart from my phone when I'm not learning or doing anything serious. It's always me and my phone. I'm always indoors with my phone. So without my phone, that's bad news.
I feel like I'm in the bush because no contact and nobody will call you. Then you feel like people are calling you, they are not getting you. And businesses too are not moving on. It's very painful when you lose your phone.
On the streets, some are deeply engrossed in their phones, completely unperturbed about the risks of being knocked down by cars. 46% of adults now own smartphones, and the smartphones, with their numerous features, give us everything we need right in the palm of our hands. Granted, the smartphones make work easy, as they give access to news updates and emails anywhere at any time. But spending so much time on phones could reduce productivity at work.
People should be matured. I mean, I would evaluate you not because of the number of hours that you spend on your mobile phone. I'm going to evaluate you on your timelines and the status reports. And so the same way I will not be too strict on my employees to come to work at 8 and close at 5. I give them the freedom. The same way I give you freedom to use your mobile in your personal, handset as you wish. But it should not let you deliver less. If you deliver less, then it means that it is your own problem and you're going to be evaluated on that.
Our attachment to our phones sometimes affects our relationships.
If I'm married and I'm always stick to my phone, maybe my husband might think I might be cheating, so he might go through my messages, WhatsApp messages and stuff.
Quite clearly, the mobile phone has impacted life positively. But the question is, are users spending too much time to the detriment of other important engagements?
Right, very interesting video there, and I myself can relate to some of the sentiments that were shared over there. Now, of course, this segment is made possible by Lipton Tea, the world's favorite tea brand. And I'm going to go straight to the phone lines where we have Dr. Emmanuel Asampong, who's a clinical psychologist and also a lecturer at the University of Ghana, standing by to shed some more light about this addiction. Good morning, Doc. Good morning, Doc. Right, Doc, if you can hear me, good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. I'd first like to start off by asking you to help us define an addiction. Okay, Doc, I don't know if you can hear me, but I was asking you to help us define an addiction. Right, we seem to be having some difficulties getting the good doctor on the phone. We'll take a quick break while we try to remedy that. We'll be right back with that interview for you. Do you have the sound now? Okay. Right. Good morning, Doc.
Yes, good morning. I just wanted to make a quick correction. My title is Mr.
Okay, Mr. Emmanuel Asampong.
Sure.
Forgive us for that. Right. So I was asking you to define an addiction for us, please.
Well, if you talk of an addiction, you're looking at, a situation where, in the absence of something, an individual, will exhibit this, strong feeling of discomfort, which is to say that the person, has been deprived of something, So, and in most cases, it happens when the person has been exposed to that thing over a certain period and would have become so used to it such that without it, then there's that, funny feeling, and sometimes it manifests in certain behaviors that are exhibited. And usually, for the person concerned, that feeling is very, very uncomfortable.
Right. Now, Mr. Sampo, would you say that the youth's attachment to their smartphones is an addiction or just a habit?
Well, it depends. It depends, and because, like I explained, if the person cannot do without it, or if the use of the thing, and in this case, the phone, kind of disrupts the person's normal way of functioning. For example, if the person is studying, if the person is working, or if the person were to be doing some other thing, and the use of the phone kind of like interferes with what the person is doing, then you want to say that yes, the person has a problem. Then again, you want to look at the frequency of how that disruption takes place. If it is such that at any point in time that the person is doing something, and because of the concentration of the phone, the person cannot do that thing so well, then one will be tempted to say that yes, this person would have become addicted to it.
Right. Talking about frequency, how frequently can one be on their phone? At what point do we then say it's moved from becoming just a general habit to an addiction? Is it maybe twice in a day, 3 times in a day? At what point exactly?
It depends. The phone, is used for, a number of important purposes. For example, if you receive the call and you pick it, yes, that's fine. And then in recent times, where people have phones that they can check their mails and, do some other things on it, yes. If you are doing that particular thing and at the end of the day, the benefits, will outweigh, if you like, the cost, then you would say that it is fine.
Right, so the usage of the phone is also key. Like you mentioned, it depends on what you're using the phone for. What if you're just, there are some people who their whole lives is practically built around their phones. They check their emails, they check the news, they go on various websites to do business. Some people use it for social media. I, for instance, I'm a text message person. I'm always forever on the phone messaging and all of that. So which of these usages would you say is a bad habit or an addiction? At what point does it become an addiction? Because if your phone, your whole life revolves around your phone, then that's just a way of life, isn't it?
Sure, that's fine. If you were in the classroom, for example, you were being taught, and then you are on the phone, reading news. That is very inappropriate, So you want to look at what you are doing at the point in time and what you will be doing on the phone. If there is a mismatch between what you are doing on the phone and what you are doing at that particular point in time, then it is a problem. And at the end of the day, if you are supposed to be very productive, you will notice that because of the frequency with which you have used the phone for, very unnecessary things, your productivity.
Right. So basically, what you're talking about is timing. The time at which you use the phone, maybe using the phone to the detriment of other things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, if you are doing it that way, then it's virtually like you are wasting your time.
Right. How does one wean themselves off the phone addiction?
Well, I want to believe that, for people who are so addicted to it, it is something that they learn over time, And so I want to believe that, again, if they give themselves time, they can unlearn it. The only challenge is that initially it's going to be difficult. Something that you are so much used to, all of a sudden you want to reduce, how often you use it, then again that discomfort will be felt. So yes, I want to believe that people can, equally unlearn it, except that they should do it, very systematically. Not to say that, oh, if I were on it, throughout the day, then all of a sudden I'm not going to be. You will do it gradually, so that feeling of discomfort will not be felt so much. If it is felt so much for people who cannot stand it, you will see them going back to it, and the problem will still persist.
I see. So it's a gradual process to weaning yourself off your mobile phone addiction. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Mr. Emmanuel Asampong is a clinical psychologist and a lecturer at the University of Ghana. He's been talking to us about mobile phone addiction. This has been our lifestyle segment, proudly brought to you by Lipton Tea, the world's #1 tea brand.